Porcupine Tree is without a doubt one of the most consistently good bands that I ever heard. So let me tell you, this ranking wasn't easy. I mean, if each album had a letter grade, they would all at least be a B-. So in preparation of two new Steven Wilson albums, Blackfield in December and his solo in January, both of which I'll also be ranking, I thought we should start with the band that unfortunately will not be receiving a new album. Probably ever. Which really sucks because I really just want to hear Gavin Harrison and Steven Wilson working together again, but oh well. Also, I'm only going to be doing the main 10 studio albums because this band's discography is so convoluted that it would put the Kingdom Hearts storyline to shame. So I won't be covering stuff like Voyage 34 or Metanonia or however the fuck you say it, or any of the thousands of EPs that were only recorded on cassettes. The main guys. Also, side note, yes, I'm aware I'm wearing a Steven Wilson shirt, not Porcupine Tree. And that's because I don't have any Porcupine Tree shirts because I never saw them live, or they never had an album bundle with a shirt, so I never was able to get one. So Steven Wilson, he's just going to have to represent all of his shit. And last but not least, we have Signify. Like I said, all their albums are really good, but this one's in last because while it has some good stuff on it, like Dark Matter and Signify, it's mostly just like ambient noises and like soundscapes, which is fine, but I wouldn't prefer it over more standard stuff like everything else. Funny enough, with The Sky Moves Sideways, I had written down in my notes to bring up that it kind of reminds me of Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Another band I gotta do at some point. But yeah, because it has the same exact album structure. And then I went on Wikipedia and found out that I was not the only one to make that observation. So, but yeah, there's some great stuff on here. Like, of course, you got the title tracks, split into two parts. I also really like Dislocated Day. It's just not overall as memorable as some albums above it. And then we got the debut on the Sunday of Life. This one is really great, but it's really, really long and it has a lot of weird shit on it. But it also has some great tracks like Jupiter Island, Radioactive Toy, and Nostalgia Factory, which is pretty much why it's above the other two albums. And then from the debut, we have the finale, The Incident. A little bit of a disappointing finale to a really great band, but it still has its moments. Moments like Blind House, Time Flies, and Drawing the Line. And also the second disc has some really great stuff like Bonnie the Cat as well. It's just got the same issue as The Sky Moves Sideways. It's just not totally memorable. Also, I think it's missing like that Porcupine Tree epic. You know, it's missing that Arriving Somewhere But Not Here. It's missing that Anesthetize. It's missing that Russia on Ice. Even still, I think it's much stronger than something like On the Sunday of Life, which is why it's above it by one place. Lightbulb Sun is where we start moving into the A-tier albums. It's also the final one that Chris Maitland plays on. You did good, man, but damn, I'm sorry, you're about to get hopelessly overshadowed. But anyway, another great release with tracks like Four Chords That Made a Million, Russia on Ice, and Hate Song. She's Moved On is pretty good too, but they redid it on Deadwing, and that version pretty much makes this one obsolete. But still, really good album. Up the Downstairs essentially just replaces all that weird shit from the first album and jams in some great instrumentalization. Don't get me wrong, you still got weird stuff on this one too, but it's not nearly as much. You know, you got tracks like Synthesia, Always Never, Burning Sky, and their super funky title track. Man, if number 5 is this good, you got yourself a good-ass band. Stupid Dream is just more great stuff. I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point anymore. I think Pure Narcotic and Even Less are the main standouts. This is one of those records where you started to see the shift from the psychedelic instrumental stuff to a more heavier sound. And speaking of a heavier sound, Deadwing is in the middle of the top 3 albums, and with tracks like Open Car, Shallow, Halo, and of course the previously mentioned Arriving Somewhere, but not here, it's pretty easy to see why. At this point, it's pretty much just personal preference to what songs I like the most. Enter Gavin Harrison with In Absentia. Many people, including Steven himself, has this album at number 1, and it's pretty close for me too, sitting at number 2. And with tracks like Blackest Eyes, Trains, Strip the Soul, The Sound of Music, it would probably be faster to name all the weaker tracks on the album. But there's barely on here because this track is an absolute monster that any Steven Wilson fan, no matter which of his 14 projects is your favorite, you're definitely going to know this album. Fear of a Blank Planet is quite honestly just perfection. Back to back to back to back to back to back tracks of excellency on here. The title track is great. Sleep Together, Way Out of Here, which hits me pretty hard at this point in my life. Sentimental and My Ashes adds a nice little contrast to those heavier songs. And yeah, that's about all of them. I don't think I'm missing any songs, am I? Oh yeah, motherfucking Anesthetize. Not only is it Porcupine Trees and perhaps Steven himself's masterpiece, it has Alex Lifeson on it. Oh, I'm sorry, does In Absentia have Alex Lifeson on it? No. Does anything else have Alex Lifeson on it? No. You can't argue with me on this. You give me any other album at number 1, and all I gotta say is, yeah, but is Alex Lifeson on that one? No, I didn't think so. Case closed. Alright, and that wraps up my list for Porcupine Tree. Be sure to fire yours away in the comments, and for fans of Steven Wilson, be sure to come back because Blackfield in December and Solo in January I will also be doing. As for what's next, well, there's been someone I've been wanting to do for a while, but I had to wait until I found all 14 of his albums. Who is it, you might ask? Well, that's gonna be a secret. But for now, I'll see you next time.